Imagine building a complete AI app, not just, a simple demo, but a real professional tool,
Right.
and doing it all without writing any actual code. Sounds kind of sci-fi, doesn't it?
Yeah, but we're here to tell you it's not science fiction anymore, and a
Oh.
dream. It's really tangible now, very accessible. Get ready to actually create.
Welcome back to the deep dive. This is where we take these, complex topics and try to break them down into something digestible, something thought-provoking just for you.
Mhm.
Today, we're looking closely at this really interesting guide called No Code AI App Creation, Firebase and ANN Guide.
And our goal, our mission for this deep dive, it's pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
We want to show you just how powerful AI app development has become, even without traditional coding.
Yeah.
You'll see how these two platforms, Google's Firebase Studio and this tool called ANN, how they work together to build something, honestly, pretty amazing.
We're going to walk through the whole process. We'll cover the core tech, the step-by-step build, how to make it all work together.
Yeah, connect the dots.
Exactly. And even how to make it better, how to polish it up.
Get ready for some real aha moments, I think. This is genuinely a game changer.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Before we actually start building anything, we need to understand the key players here, the two core technologies. First up, Firebase Studio. What is that exactly?
Okay, so think of Firebase Studio as Google's AI-powered builder.
Yeah.
It's kind of like having a digital architect on call.
Okay.
You just describe what you want your app to do, using natural language.
Just talking to it.
Pretty much. And it handles building the user interface, the back-end logic, even the hosting. It, translates your idea into a working structure.
Wow. Okay. And then the other piece is N8N.
Right, N8N. Think of that as your workflow automation wizard. It's this really cool open source tool that connects different services, different APIs, and lets you build these smart AI-powered workflows. It's like the digital assistant running around behind the scenes, doing all the complex tasks when something triggers it. The orchestrator, maybe.
Okay, so the orchestrator. What's really interesting then, beyond what they do individually, is how they combine. What's the strategic advantage when they work together?
Well, it's really about making complex AI development accessible. Firebase gives you that easy-to-use front end and the solid infrastructure.
Right.
While N8N manages what's called the clever back-end logic, the
Yes.
automation. It means people who aren't hardcore developers can now build really sophisticated AI workflows, stuff that used to need a whole engineering team.
So that combination makes powerful AI apps achievable without deep coding skills. Is that the main takeaway?
Yeah, exactly. Powerful, user-friendly AI apps with automation built in.
Now, the guide we're looking at, it focuses on building something specific,
Yeah.
the content idea machine. What does that actually do?
Okay, so this is a web app. It's designed for, marketers, bloggers, content creators, really anyone who needs fresh content ideas regularly. The user just types in a topic, something broad. The AI chews on it for a second, and then boom, you get this list back. Blog titles, video ideas, maybe social media post suggestions.
All in just a few seconds.
Right. It's about getting those relevant ideas fast, based on methods that, tend to work.
Yeah.
It really speeds up that whole creative brainstorming process.
So who really benefits most from having a tool like this machine?
Content creators gain quick, engaging ideas instantly.
Okay, so this is where we shift from understanding the concepts to actually doing it. Let's start building the front end, the user interface, with Firebase Studio. You said it's surprisingly direct.
It really is. You just, go to the Firebase Studio website, sign in with your Google account, and then comes the kind of magic part.
Yeah.
You just describe the app you want.
Yeah.
Plain English, like you're just telling someone what you need.
Okay. And the guide gives a specific example prompt, right?
Yeah, it's a good one. It says, create an app for the purpose of generating content ideas. Let's call the app Content Idea Machine. The app should have two components. The first component is a text box where the user can enter their topic, and the second component is a button called Generate Ideas.
That's it. Just that description.
That's literally it. That simple description is enough. The AI takes that, figures out what you mean, and starts building the UI. Usually takes maybe 60 to 90 seconds. It's pretty wild watching it happen. Feels kind of like magic, honestly.
So what's really unique or different about building UIs this way, using Firebase's natural language approach?
Natural language prompts quickly build entire interfaces.
Okay, so while Firebase is busy cooking up our UI,
Yeah, doing its thing.
we need to turn our attention to the back end, right?
Okay.
Setting up the automation system in NAN.
Exactly. You jump over to N8, you start a new scenario.
Yeah.
That's what they call their workflows. And the very first thing you add is a webhook node. That's going to be your doorway for data coming in.
A webhook. Okay, for people maybe familiar with APIs, but not webhooks specifically, what's the advantage here? Why a webhook?
Sure. So, yeah, it is a unique URL, but more than that, it's like a real-time alert system.
Hmm.
Instead of your Firebase app constantly having to ask NATN, got anything for me? Got anything new?
Right.
Not polling, exactly. With a webhook, Firebase can instantly push the data to NAN the moment the user clicks the Generate Ideas button.
Ah,
It's
okay.
way more efficient, especially for this kind of dynamic app. Data gets processed right away, no wasted effort. It's pretty standard in modern setups.
And the guide mentions some specific settings for this webhook. Pretty important.
Yeah, crucial little details. You set the method to psent, make sure authentication is none just for this basic setup, and you start with the test URL. But the absolute key thing is copy that generated webhook URL right away. That's the digital bridge. You're going to need that exact URL to link Firebase to NAN later. Don't lose it.
So why is copying that URL such a non-negotiable, critical step?
It's the unique address for data flow.
Okay, so we've got the Firebase front end getting built. We've got the NAN webhook ready to receive data. Now for the really interesting part, the AI brain itself. How do we, program this thing to generate those creative ideas?
Right. This is the heart of the content idea machine. Back in your NAN workflow, you add an OpenAI node. Specifically, you choose the chat model option. You'll need your OpenAI API key, of course, to connect it.
Got it.
This node is where we tell the AI what to actually do.
And the guide really emphasizes the prompt. I guess if the AI is the brain, the prompt is like its instruction manual for this task.
Absolutely. The prompt is everything. How you structure it, how specific you are, that's key. For our app, a good prompt might be something like, you are a content strategy expert, given the following topic. And here's where the user's input goes. Generate a list of 5 engaging blog titles. For each title, provide a brief 1-2 sentence description of what the post would cover. The tone should be creative and aimed at a marketing audience, see? That level of detail really guides it.
Whoa. Okay, imagine scaling that. Just one well-written prompt basically defines a professional AI agent instantly. That's incredibly powerful. Kind of mind-bending, actually. But what about, bad input if a user types in something vague or totally off topic?
And that's a really good point. And that gets to the art of prompt engineering. You can build in defenses.
How so?
Well, you could add logic in N8N before the OpenAI node to check the input, or even bake it into the prompt itself. Tell the AI if the topic is too vague, ask for clarification. Or, if it seems unrelated, respond politely saying you need more information about topic. You design for robustness, not just the happy path. So yeah, the prompt directs the creativity, but you can also direct how it handles less than perfect input.
So the prompt's main job is really just telling the AI exactly what to generate.
Precisely. It instructs the AI on exactly what to generate.
All right, now we connect the dots. We bring Firebase and NAN together so they talk to each other.
Yep, this is where it clicks together. We need to tell Firebase Studio, hey, when someone clicks that button, send their input over to our N8N webhook.
How do you do that?
You actually just update the app description again in Firebase. You add something like, when the user clicks the Generate Ideas button, we are going to send their query as a PUST request to, and then you paste in that webhook URL you copied earlier.
Okay. So you're just telling Firebase the address to send the data to.
Exactly. It establishes that connection. Front-end to back-end automation.
And then the moment of truth, the first test run.
Yeah. You open up the Firebase app you just built, type in a sample topic, let's say content marketing for startups, click Generate Ideas, and then you watch. Hopefully you see the flow. Firebase sends the topic to N8N's webhook URL. N8N catches it, sends it to the OpenAI node with your prompt. OpenAI generates the ideas, and then N8N sends that response back, and it appears right there in your Firebase app.
Like magic.
It feels like it. It's like watching this little Rube Goldberg machine you just built spring to life.
Yeah.
Super satisfying.
And the goal is seeing that list of well-written content ideas pop up in the app.
Exactly. That's the payoff.
So what's the single clearest sign that your initial test run was a success?
Seeing generated ideas appear in the app.
Now, even with a great guide, things inevitably go wrong sometimes, right?
Absolutely. Happens all the time.
The guide offers some troubleshooting tips. What are the usual suspects when things aren't working?
Yeah, the common ones. Often it's the N8N webhook just not getting the data.
Yeah.
First thing to check is always, did you copy the URL correctly? Is Firebase definitely set to send a POST request? Simple stuff first.
Okay.
Another big one, if the AI itself isn't responding, Double-check that OpenAI API key, make sure it's correct, and make sure you actually have credits available on your account. Easy to overlook.
And what about that invalid JSON response error? That sounds frustrating. What causes that?
Yeah, that one can be tricky. It usually means the AI-generated text, but not in the structured format, the JSON format that N8N or Firebase is expecting. The fix is usually to go back to your prompt and be really explicit. Add a line like, your response must be formatted as valid JSON. You have to be firm. And related to that, sometimes models just drift. We call it prompt drift. Over time, or with weird inputs, they might subtly change how they respond. I still wrestle with prompt drift myself sometimes, honestly. It takes constant testing to keep things reliable.
Okay, so assuming you've ironed out the kinks, things are working.
Yeah.
It's time to move from testing to, well, production, ready for real users.
Right. Key step. Switch your N8N webhook from the test URL to the production URL. It's a different permanent address. Copy that new URL and update it back in your Firebase Studio app description.
Yeah.
And please, think about the user. Add some kind of loading indicator, a spinner, or something so they know the app is working while the AI thinks. Little details matter.
So if someone hits that invalid JSON error, what's the simplest first thing to try?
Ask the AI to format as valid JSON.
Firebase Studio gets you a working app, which is amazing in itself. But how do you take it from just functional to looking, professional, improving the user experience?
That's a great point. And again, you can often use natural language in Firebase Studio. You can literally tell it, update the user interface to look like a modern SaaS application. Use clean lines, professional colors, maybe a sans serif font.
Seriously, just describe the style.
Yeah, it's surprisingly good at interpreting those kinds of aesthetic requests. It won't be perfect always, but it can get you a long way towards a more polished look.
What else makes a difference for the user beyond just the colors and fonts?
Oh, definitely adding helpful context, like a short sentence explaining what the app does. Maybe show a few examples of good topics someone could enter.
Okay.
Having a clear area where the generated ideas appear. And simple things, like a button to easily copy the generated text. These aren't complex features, but they make the app feel much more complete and user-friendly. It's about thinking through their steps.
So what's a really quick way to give the app's look and feel a boost?
Describe desired styling in a simple prompt.
Okay, since the OpenAI part is really the core engine here, mastering the prompt seems crucial. We talked about one example, but what are the underlying principles for writing really effective prompts?
Yeah, absolutely critical. I'd say there are 4 main principles. First, be specific. Don't just ask for good ideas. Define what good means. Is it for Twitter? Is it formal? Is it funny? The more specific, the better the AI can target.
Okay, specificity, number 1.
Second, provide examples. This is huge. Show the AI exactly the kind of output you want. Give it 1 or 2 perfect examples in the prompt itself. It's great at pattern matching, so it'll try to mimic your examples.
Right. Show, don't just tell. What's third?
Third, handle edge cases. Think about weird inputs. What if someone enters gibberish? What if they leave it blank? You can add instructions in your prompt telling the AI how to react gracefully to bad or incomplete data.
Makes sense. Build in robustness.
And fourth, test extensively. Cannot stress this enough. Try your prompt with all sorts of inputs. Good ones, bad ones, long ones, short ones. See how it performs. You'll often find you need to tweak it based on those tests to get consistent, high-quality results.
You mentioned be specific first. Can you give an example of a prompt that's not specific enough and why it might fail?
Sure. If you just prompted, write some blog post ideas about marketing, that's super vague. The AI might give you generic stuff about email marketing, SEO, social media.
Right.
Maybe none of it relevant to your needs.
Right.
But if you said, generate 5 blog post titles about using TikTok for B2B lead generation aimed at marketing managers in the tech industry, focus on actionable tips. Now the AI has clear constraints and a target audience. The results will be way better.
So that clear communication really shapes the AI's output.
It's like fine-tuning a really skilled but very literal assistant. You have to guide it precisely.
And why is testing those prompts so important, really?
To ensure consistent quality output across scenarios.
Okay, so the basic content idea machine is up and running. It works. What's next? Where can you take this? What are some cool ways to expand it?
Oh, man. So many possibilities. You could easily tweak the prompts, right? Tell it to generate video script outlines instead of blog titles. Or maybe social media post variations for different platforms.
Okay, different content types.
Yeah. Or integrations. Imagine connecting this directly to something like Trello or Asana. Generate ideas, then click a button to create a task or a card on your content calendar.
Ooh, nice.
You could even get fancier. Pull in data from trend analysis APIs to suggest timely topics.
Hmm.
Or build a simple dashboard within the app to track which kinds of topics users are generating ideas for. Lots of room to grow.
And if this tool actually turns out to be really useful for people, monetization, is that feasible?
Totally. You
Yeah.
could absolutely build a business around this. Maybe a freemium model, basic ideas are free, but more advanced features or higher usage limits require a subscription.
Mm.
Or usage-based pricing. Pay per idea generated, maybe. You could even offer it as a white label solution for marketing agencies to use with their clients. If it provides real value, people will pay for it.
What's one really exciting advanced feature you could potentially add?
Integrating with content calendars or real-time trend analysis.
This whole process we've just described, building a real AI app, potentially a business, without writing code, it feels like it's part of a much bigger shift, doesn't it?
It absolutely is. This is the no-code and low-code revolution happening right now. These kinds of platforms are fundamentally changing who gets to build software. They're democratizing it.
So it's lowering the barrier, allowing more people with ideas, but maybe not traditional coding skills, to actually build things.
Exactly. It's this combination, this blend of intuitive visual no-code interfaces on the front, connected to incredibly powerful AI capabilities on the back. It's kicking off a new era. The main limitation is shifting from technical skill to just creativity, your imagination. It's incredibly empowering.
So what would you say is the single biggest impact of this whole no-code movement?
It democratizes software creation, empowering innovators.
Okay, so if we try to boil this all down, connect it back to the big picture, what are the main core takeaways from this deep dive into no-code AI app creation?
I think there are 4 key things. First, simplicity. We saw how combining the right tools like Firebase and NLMN can make building seemingly complex apps much simpler.
Right.
Second, accessibility. Integrating really powerful AI that's not just for elite coders anymore. It's accessible to almost anyone now.
Mm-hmm.
Third, user experience. Even with amazing AI, you can't forget the user. A smooth, intuitive interface is still absolutely crucial for success.
Good point.
And finally, iteration. Your first attempt probably won't be perfect, but these tools make it so much easier to tweak, refine, and improve your app over time. Continuous improvement is built in.
It really sounds like it's about embracing that cycle. Build, test, refine, and just let your creativity lead the way. So what does all this mean for you listening right now? You've just learned the blueprint, really, for building a professional-grade AI application without needing to write traditional code. This isn't just theory, it's a practical system you could start experimenting with today.
Yeah, the most important thing now is just to start, to dive in. Take these ideas, play around with prompts in something like OpenAI's Playground, maybe sign up for Firebase and NAN.
Tinker.
Exactly, tinker, experiment, try designing different interfaces. Think about what you could automate or build. Explore integrations, just get your hands dirty.
Which leads to, I think, a really important question for you to think about. If the main barrier now isn't code, but creativity, what amazing thing will you build next?
Start creating today. See where your own ideas can take you with these tools. Audi TRO Music.